good that you always remind me. Okay. Only once I think that the first day's recording and in between one day Power BI recording we lost because first day was no, we are not prepared.
Correct, yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, that was the introductory session. But then in between this, my power went off. So then when I resumed, so yeah. So in Power BI and Google Data Studio, what we saw was every sheet was kind of a dashboard. There is no separate dashboard, so you can make multiple charts in one dashboard, which was a sheet. And we said that optimum is 4 because that helps you to build a story. Sometimes you can have 6, but probably not more than that. In case of Tableau, the sheets are separate. What we have been working on are the sheets. So each of these sheets can have one chart. So you cannot have more than one chart in one sheet. And obviously then comes the question of using a separate sheet which will work as a summary and a dashboard. So that's what, but it does something more than just summarizing sheets. Okay, so one of the interesting ways is, or use of dashboard is the filtering. So till now, if you notice, the filtering that we have used is slightly, I would say, crude. Okay, I don't know if you have noticed it, and we'll just see. On the other hand, the way typical filtering works, that is needs to be slightly more sophisticated. So that gives a feeling that how does filtering work in Tableau. So actually filtering works very well once we know the concept of action. So as I say that the Tableau is very versatile because it's all parameterized, but at the same time we need to know how to use those parameters. Okay, otherwise you will feel that as features are not there. So so let us open Tableau, and
creating this 4-quadrant, it perhaps needs a little bit of practice, because
that's another problem. I mean, not also a problem. It requires, you rightly said, there's a practice, because you have to know how to drag and drop, and sometimes
Correct.
If you're not used to, you really don't know how how you are dragging and dropping.
So initially I struggled a bit, but then I think I could somehow manage.
Yeah, I think it comes with practice. It comes with practice. Once, I mean, not a lot of practice. Once you, it's like cycling, okay, or swimming. I mean, you struggle for days, and then suddenly one day you know that you are able to balance. Okay, you don't know how you are able to balance, but suddenly one day you are able to balance. Something like that. Okay, so
absolutely,
it's not a continuous improvement. It's the kind of one day you suddenly see that okay, you've been able to. So something like this. So yeah, I think most of us will get it. So just let me open more below. In the meantime, I hope that all of you are comfortable with whatever we have done so far.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of practice as and when able to get, and try and practice with your own data set, because one is the use of tools which can be learned and trained, but the other, which is probably much more managerial aspect, is how to decide from the data what needs to be reported, because that is something that comes with the business knowledge and the perspective of looking at the data. So that's something, I mean, can happen only when you have the data which is your own, and you try to work on that data. That's fine. So let us do the I mean, for today's exercise, it will be better if you use a fresh sheet, because we will be using some actions and all. So your earlier sheets may have, lot of, charts, and that might confuse you a little bit. Okay, so for even though this might be a little bit of, extra work, it's better if you can open a fresh sheet for today's work. So we'll just do the standard stuff that we did, where we change the formatting. So this is another way of changing the currency. If you remember that the earlier way, what we did was we went to this currency standard, made this. This is one way. If you know the symbol of the currency, you can directly go and do it. This is another way. Profit, make it. And discount, I think we did not do this earlier, but discount, actually, if you see the data, it is coming in the form of a percentage. So you can actually change this discount format to percentage. Okay. So
why has my tables disappeared? I just took that orders and I put it, I dragged it. And
I did not get that, woman. Just coming in.
since I took a fresh sheet, I went to orders and I dragged that orders and put it in the middle.
Right. Right.
And I got this table which is there.
Right.
But yeah, after that, yeah, what is it that you're?
So you have to go to the sheet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because so that is the data.
So we open a fresh sheet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are making a fresh sheet just to, I mean, because
yeah, I'm fine.
The actions that we are going to do might, I mean, if you have old sheets, too many sheets, it might confuse. Okay. So we start with the basic stuff. Category sales. And normally we are putting color. Okay, let me do one more thing. Let me just put category also in color. Okay, what is going to happen is that it is going to have the categories shown as color. There's a reason for this. I'll just it will be clear once we get this. So this is the first sheet. Let me call this sheet. I'm naming this sheet because it's good if you name this sheet, because when we go to the dashboard, it will be easier for you to relate. Otherwise, it will be sheet 1, sheet 2. It will, though there's a preview, it might be a little difficult to relate what sheet it is. Okay, so we call this category, and then we'll make another sheet, and this one will make me subcategory. Okay, I'm making this a horizontal bar chart. Sorting it out, and I am putting category in color. Okay, so this time what we are getting is that we are getting the subcategory sales, but this time we are getting it colored based on category. So this is so normally we are using profit. Okay, this is another way of using the so this is the subcategory. See. So let me also sort this by let me give the sales in the label. Okay. So let us first make a dashboard with these two simple charts. Okay, with these two simple charts, we'll make a dashboard. So what we can also do is make this entire view and make this entire view as well, because that will help us to form the charts dashboard. So now what we are seeing over here is that we have both these sheets in the dashboard. Now, as I was showing that you can break it down into 4, like the way I was doing. So here it is slightly, it requires a little bit of practice where you take this over here, and then you take this over here, and then we take this over here. So it has created 4 boxes. Okay, so with little bit of practice, you'll be able to, drag and drop it in the right place. Okay, it's slightly, initially slightly non-intuitive. I should not say non-intuitive, but it is kind of, you need to know exactly where to position. Um, what I'm doing here now, I'm just removing this because I just have 2 charts now. So instead of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take category here. Okay. And then I'm going to take subcategory and put it beside this. Okay. And I'm going to change this to automatic. And then I am going to make this narrow. So now you see, now this requires a little bit of aesthetic, aesthetic aspect of it. Because now you can, because one chart was horizontal and one chart was vertical, I gave a vertical space to one of the chart and the horizontal space to the other chart. Okay. And now we can just remove this or hide this. Okay. I don't need this because already I have the category here. Okay. I can hide this. Okay. So far, everybody okay?
Yeah.
Now, I will leave this chart over here. I will go back over here and we'll try and see how initially, filtering, how initially we use filtering. That means, let's say if I want to find out the sale of technology, okay, how do I use, or let's say in the subcategory field, I want to use the sale of, I want to just see the sale of technology category. How were we using filters? There were a couple of ways by which we're using filters, but none of them were kind of elegant enough to give you a drill down kind of a feature. One way of using filter was this. I will use a category over here, and then I will, let's say, just say technology. Okay, this is one way, but this is obviously not a very elegant way, right? Because every time I have to go and select the filter from here. And it cannot be controlled by a user. That means once you publish this to your Tableau public, the user who is using the report will not be able to use this filter. He has to go back to the creator of the chart and ask him or her again that now I want to see something else. I want to see furniture and give me furniture. So every time I have to go and select like this, isn't it? Am I correct? This is one way of making filter. Yes, are you with me?
Yeah.
The other way of using filter was kind of using a hierarchy. That means, let me make another sheet. I'll not use this sheet. Now, this one is, let's say, and here what we created was we created a hierarchy, the product group. And within the product group, we have category, subcategory. We can put product name also here. And then the other hierarchy that we created was geo. So it was state under country, geolocation. City, you have the postal code. So these are the two hierarchies. Now, the other way of doing this kind of a drill down was you take the product group and you take the sales. Okay. And let me make this horizontal, sort it by sales, and then we split like this. Okay. So this is another way of trying to, but then again, this was not, let's say I want to just have technology. Okay, I can only do this keep only, and then, okay. But what it does is it basically puts it as a part of your filter. It's essentially a filter. Hence, this also cannot be done by the end user of the report. Okay, it can only be done by the creator of the report or the developer of the report. So if you look at it, that this, what we mean by a drill down, okay, that flexibility, it was not available here in this method. Okay. And also it did not, for example, give a cross sheet filtering. Okay, if you remember that in case of Power BI, let's say if I want to filter, let's say I want to keep technology only, it will keep technology in this space, but it will not show me only technology related products in this particular sheet, because obviously these two sheets are two different sheets. It's not in the same sheet. So this filtering over here is not affecting only this sheet, is not affecting this sheet. So I cannot go and see what is the set of subcategories, sale of subcategories for the category technology. Okay, making sense? Yeah. Are you fine?
Yeah.
We can do this in a dashboard, but we can do this in a dashboard, like if you filter both the sheets in the dashboard, right?
Right. So that's where the use of dashboard will come. So so I'm trying to explain that what is, what are the advantages that you have in a dashboard. Okay. So this is something that you cannot control in the sheets, but whether I can do it in a dashboard. So now let us see how we can do it in a dashboard. So if you look at now, this is where our dashboard will come. The easiest way of doing this is this one. You see, this is the filter. So now if I use this filter, okay, now see what happens. If I click,
We have to do the filter on both the sheets.
no, not. You don't, for this you don't have.
Oh, acha.
Yeah.
Or a click hoy nahi
Huh. So filter on both the sheets will be required when I want to have a, so the previous one I actually created a filter on the other sheet and not in this sheet. Okay. So now if I do this, now this one is not very useful. I mean, it's not very relevant, but I can have it in both. Okay, so here I can have filter over here and filter on this. Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. Now, what actually the filter is doing? Filter is creating an action. Okay. Filter is the the basic form of action. So when I created filter, what happened? If you go to the dashboard over here, if you go to action, okay, what it created is, it created two filters, each one for each sheet. Okay. And let's see what this filter actually did. Okay. So if we go over here and go to edit, and let us understand, let's first of all call this filter some name, otherwise it will be confusing. So we'll call this, let's say, category filter. No, sorry, this is a subcategory. Actually, I clicked on the subcategory first, right? So that's why it created a subcategory filter first. Okay. And so let me first name both of them and then I'll explain. It says generated because it has already, it created the filter on its own. Okay. So now you have this two filters. One is a category filter, and the other, action on category, and the action is on subcategory. So let's see what it is doing. So here you see that it is working on dashboard 1. Okay. Now what it is saying that if you select a category, so this is the option: select, hover, or menu. Okay. And there's an option of where you can just select only one. Okay. So if you select the category, any category, it is going to affect the target sheet, same dashboard sheet, and in the dashboard is going to affect both category and subcategory. Okay. So that means if I click over here, it is filtering the category as well as filtering the subcategory. Okay. Now, if I change this, let's say if I change this to action only on category. So the source sheet is category. I can select a category, but the target sheet, it will act only on the subcategory part. Subcategory sheet, not the category sheet. Okay, so now if you do, see what happens. Okay, so it is not acting on the category sheet. Okay, so it is not impacting the, even though it is graying out, but it is actually not impacting the category sheet. Okay, it is only impacting the subcategory sheet. So you have to go. So they're actually not impacting the category sheet, but it really doesn't, make a lot of difference in this particular case. Okay. But it has given the option that you can deselect category also, but actually it is also taking care of category. So just let me be over here. Yeah.
Atanu, sorry, you have to tell us again because I'm getting a little confused because in the category and subcategory it feels like it's both same here, but if you can just explain once more.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and in the filters, I got only the filter one which is generated, but I didn't have the second one. Unless I missed something. Okay, I'll see.
Okay, so if you go to this category field, sorry. I don't know why. Just give me a second. This is, let me just save this because this is somehow reset my mouse pointer. 1 second. Just give me a moment.
Sure.
Just have to close down, and in the meantime, I just try out. Just have to close the Tableau once and open it. Just close the Tableau one. Yeah. So what I was showing, the action. Now, my first, the input field is a category. So, and the action it has on
Both category and subcategory.
Both category and subcategory right now. Okay.
Right.
Now, suppose I just select only subcategory. See what happens. Now here it really, I mean, ideally it should not filter out the category, because I have said that you don't filter out the category, but somehow it is not impacting the impacting both the category and the subcategory. It is not having an impact. Okay, so this is little, some of these things are little, weird. It doesn't work the way it should work, but that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, that means if I don't select category, that means it should not show the category that gets deselected, or maybe but in either case it is not that. Okay, let me just see if there's the difference. Oh no, there's no difference. There's no difference.
There is no difference. So that's why I got confused, because it's actually there is no difference.
Actually, there's no difference. There should be a difference. Ideally, what should have happened is that if I select this, if since the action is on both category and subcategory sheet, I should not be able to even see the other categories, because the other categories should get dim. I mean, right now it is dim. It should not be seen at all, but that's not happening. It's acting the same way. So little bit of, I think that little weird. It should not behave like that. But anyway, that's so. So let's see what are the other things that we have in the action. Everybody else, everybody else is fine. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are other actions. Okay. So instead of a select, I can use a hover. Now, what does this hover do? If I do a hover.
So if you take the mouse on top of the graph, perhaps it will show, right?
Right. So sometimes it can be useful. Sometimes it can be little awkward also, because suppose you are showing something and suddenly moment we show this it filters. So I personally do not like this, because it creates a little bit of confusion. So I always prefer select. There's a third one called menu. So let's see what menu does. So now if you do select, now it doesn't do anything over here. Okay. Instead, what it does is that there is a category filter that comes with. And when you select this, then this thing comes. It's a two-step process.
But why it is so? What is the benefit of this? Why should we actually take this?
Sometimes if you are not sure about whether this needs to be shown, and you are not, it's kind of, if you are accidentally clicked on this and kind of this has filtered, you want to prevent that, and then in that case you may go for this. So it is basically extra prevention, like hover. Hover is a kind of, if you really doesn't matter, you just hover around and you filter it, that's fine. But select is the next you're a little more cautious. And this one is a two-step process. So even if you by mistake have clicked on this, it will not filter it as long as you confirm it, like a confirmation, you confirm it with this.
Yeah, okay.
That's the problem. So let me change it back to what is usually done, which is okay. I can do okay. Let me first take back to this, and then I'll show you what is a single select. So here, what I can do, should be able to. So this one was not very comfortable. So here I am able to drag. Okay, I'm able to drag this into and select it like this. Okay, so I can just drag a set of values and select it. Now this one for this particular dashboard, this may not be very useful, but I'll show you another use case where this kind of dragging can be very useful. Okay, so
how do you select? Can you show me once more,
yeah,
please?
sure.
How do you select?
You just drag your mouse like this. Okay.
Okay.
And it will take these 4 as the ones that.
Achha, so it's a summation of subcategories. So if there are 8 subcategories, maybe 3 or 4 if I want to select and compare.
Yes, but this is not a very good use case. I'll tell you where this can be a good use case. Okay. So I mean, technically you can drag anything and kind of, if you're not specific about any particular category or subcategory, just drag this and maybe top 5 or something like that, and you can see which categories they belong to. Okay, but that's not a very good use case. What will be a very good use case? Let's say I take a data point where, if you remember that we did something like sales and profit, and we kind of sales, profit, okay, and we divided it by, let's say, category. Then under the, so we broke it down like this. Okay. This, okay, you remember, and product name, and then I can actually make even lower, which is let's say order ID. Where is the order ID? So I can have like this, and I can take the shape is there. So profit is here, so I can swap this. Sales is here, profit is here. Okay, and I can, so sales size is, so let me put sales in the size, okay, and profit in the color. Okay, so now I take this in this dashboard. What I can do is, okay, I'm able to drag and drop this. Yes, and put a filter over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so now just say actions. So this one is a new action that we have created. Okay, so this is the sales versus profit. And I'm leaving it as of now. So now here I can create see what happens. So I basically taken the ones that are having negative profit and is giving me the subcategories that are leading to negative profit and also the categories that are leading to negative profit. Okay. So this is where if I want to make a set without, this is like a set, we'll talk about set, but this is like filtering on based on a certain set of points rather than filtering based on certain specific values. Am I making sense?
Yep.
Now this can become
the selection actually makes sense here only. In case of the previous chart, it was not.
Yeah. So here its selection was not making much sense. Okay, but here
That's
the
right.
selection will make much more sense. So now coming back to this. So we talked about hover, and now if I do a single select, okay, on this, or rather, let me do this. If I do a single select, then what is going to happen is okay, here, what I can do, so in a single select, I cannot do, no, should not be, let me just check. Single select should be working like this. Some of these functions are still little. Let me just remove the single select here. I just make this single select. The way it should work is that here, for example, I can have this and this, okay, and will select both. But ideally, in a single select, I should be able to select only one. Okay. I should not be able to select. But anyways, this also seems to be not creating any difference. So some of these things are little weird, and you will see here also in this one also, in some cases, the keep filtered values, show all values, exclude all values. It behaves a little weird. I'll show you how it behaves. So sometimes it's difficult to understand how these are really working. Okay? But it's supposed to work like that. For some reason, it doesn't take the single select values.
I think in the license version, we have never faced this because I have used it in one or two occasions. But in the license versions, I haven't seen this problem.
No. Have you used a single select?
I think I have used is Vishwajit there? No.
No, Vishwajit is
no,
not there.
Not here.
All the filters that we have used, we haven't used the single select one. We have always used the select part only. Not even hover. We did not even use hover. We used only select.
Yeah, I don't think it is a license version problem. It might be there is a smart. I'll figure out. Okay, I'll try and see if there is some trick that we are missing. But this one, the other one is, if you note, some of these are a little unclear the way it works. Okay, so this one I'll definitely figure out that how does a single select work. This one as well as the why target sheet, if I exclude category, why it is still including. Okay, I'll try and see if there's some documentation on that. Okay. But ideally, that's how it should work. Okay, that's the purpose of the single select. But it doesn't seem to have any effect. Okay. But maybe there is some trick somewhere because of which it is not working. It may also be that there, I mean, there was some intended difference, but now that difference doesn't. Now, if you look at this keep filtered value, this is also, this feature is a little strange. Okay, how it works. Okay, I'll tell you what. So if I change this to keep filtered values, you see what happens. Okay, so select this, no problem. But now if you select, nothing happens. Just select outside, nothing happens. Okay. So it remains in the filtered state. So what it means is, I mean, it kind of little odd. What it is meaning is that keep filtered values means that once you're filtered, the values will be kept. Even I mean, you can't unfilter it till you have gone and changed this value. Okay.
But
so
what is the benefit of it?
I mean, one benefit I can think of is, suppose you have done this chart and you want to download this in a PPT or something like that, and you want to show only filtered values. Let's say one benefit can be that you want to control the access. Let's say you don't want to show the technology sales guys in technology sector what are the sales of other subcategories from subcategories of other verticals, furniture or office supplies. Okay, you want them to show only the sales of technology. So when you publish this, the normal user will not be able to filter this. They can just see the category sales, but they can't see the subcategory sales of other categories. So that can be one use. If I don't want to make people from a particular department know the subcategory sales of furniture, but it's okay if they know the total furniture sale. So that can be one use. And if you look at the other one, which is also a little weird, which is exclude all values. So let me just show all filters, and then so now if you show on all filters, it comes back to normal. Now suppose I go to exclude all values. Okay, and I say exclude all values. What it does is filters, and then when you click, everything else goes. Okay, so exclude all values means that you are excluding the filtered values. Okay, again, it really, you can bring it back or you can move it out, but you can't see the data of other other subcategories. So again, not much of use case for this kind of thing, but this is a feature for some reason given. Okay, so that's why both these features probably doesn't have a lot of value, except the one that we are talking about, which is show all value. This is what is used most often.
I actually could not understand the benefit of these features, the last two features that you showed.
Yeah, the first one is still, I can see that you don't want, as I said, you don't want to show the subcategories.
That I understood. That I understood.
The last
Suppose
one,
I want to freeze
right. So last one, yes, there's not much of use case, I guess. And most of the documentation also doesn't give any use case where the last features can be effective. So probably there can be some specific use case for which Tableau thought of including that, but they may be very rare, and that's why it's difficult to figure out.
Application may be very rare.
Yeah, application may be very rare. So that's why probably.
Thank you.
Tableau has kept it, but not used often. So just to continue with this, let me take one more sheet. Okay. This time, let me make the product quantity. And so the one that I'm going to show you now will actually show you how the power of filtering. Okay. So let me take so we know the quantity and we know, let's take the product name. And let me make a tree map. Now, obviously, this tree map is meaningless as of now. Let me also take the sum of quantity is size, and let me take profit in the color. Okay. So all that we can see is that this is the volume of sales, and there are some which is we can just change this color to red when diverging. So you can see that some are very profitable, some are not profitable. So the largest selling unit is this, the product. Okay, the name of this is at the product level. Okay, this is the highest selling unit, and this is the one that has sold the lowest. So it is going from this highest to the lowest. Now let me put this in the dashboard. Okay. Put this, that, okay, and filter this. So now see what is happening is that I take technology. So which product is doing bad? Maybe for sales, we see office supplies. In office supplies, let's look at labels. Now you see that in label, effectively all the products, you can say except dot matrix printer, all the products are loss making. So I'm able to filter against all of these products, and able to get into individual products which are loss making. You see, these are all actually most of them have, probably the profit is so low. It may not be loss making, because you see here the profit is positive. It may not be loss making, but it is very low. The profit is very low, except dot matrix. And then I can go back and look at technology, look at phones, the other side, and see that in phones, this particular product is not making good profit, whereas this one is making good profit. So I can drill down from multiple dimensions. I can remove this in this figure. So now I have a dashboard, a functioning dashboard, where I can drill down and explore the various products, and I can go up to the product level. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, one of the good applications of this kind of drill down and filtering and dashboard is the maps. Okay, so we have built a hierarchy of maps, and let us see how the hierarchy of maps we can actually use for drilling down. So let me just make more dashboard. So this time we are going to, so the first map I'm going to make is, I'm not going to make a, the hierarchy. I'm not going to use a hierarchy in the sheet. Okay. Instead of that, I'm using independent maps, 3 independent maps, one for states, the second one for cities, and the third one for postal code. And then we are using these 3 maps to actually filter down the entire thing. So let's say I have the first one is a state, right? Country I don't need to take because there's only one country. Okay? So I'll not take country, I'll take state, and I'll take sales. And this is the map that is useful for state. And we'll do. Are you all with me, guys? Everybody?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody is with me.
Yes.
Can you? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
because my internet was showing unstable, so just wanted to check. Okay, so what we will do, we'll put sales in label, or we'll first put state in label and sales below that. Okay. So this is my state map. The second map is my city map. So let me call this state map. The second one is the city map. So in the city map, I'll take the city. I'll take sales. So this time I am going to use the sales in size. Okay, sales in size. And the color I'm going to use profit. That's like we did previously also. And let me put the name of the city here. So this is my city map. And finally, I'll make one more map, which is the postal code. So here I'll take the postal code, take the sales, this map, and increase the size a little bit, and this profit color. Okay. So now I'll create a dashboard. This dashboard, let's say geo dashboard. Okay. And let us first take the category one. This is, I'm keeping it just for reference. But then our objective is first to get the city map over here. Yes. Then I will give the state map. So, sorry, not this is a state map, this is a city map. And then I will take the postal code. Okay. And I make this automatic. Okay. So the postal code, let me add the postal code also here. So far, okay, everybody fine? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now I will use filters. So I need to know where technology is selling the highest. Okay. So it gives me the sales of technology in different different states and different cities and postal code. But I want to know the sale of technology in California. I am analyzing multiple dimensions. Previously, I was analyzing kind of one dimensions, category, subcategory like that, product like that. Now I am saying it's like a cube. I'm saying category and state. And then I'm saying, oh, this guy, Los Angeles is doing very well in technology and in technology category in California city, they're doing very well. Okay. And within that, Los Angeles is doing very well. Let me find out what are the pin codes in Los Angeles that are being, which are doing very well. So it is zooming into the specific. Now we see that even though Los Angeles is doing very well, this pin code is actually not doing very well. This postal code is not doing very well. So I can kind of drill down to the postal code level across two dimensions, the category dimension and the geo dimension. Make sense? Should remove my filters now. It's not doing this. Sorry. Should be kind of sentence. Yeah. All good? Are you able to see the power of drill down here?
Yes.
Yes, all good?
Yes.
Yes, great. Okay. There are few other features in actions. For example, you can take it to, so you can, okay, let me show this highlight. Okay, so there are few other things. So let's see what this highlight does. So let me copy this first dashboard. Copy this. Now, what I'm going to do is instead of these two filters I've got created. All these filters I've got created. You can see. Okay. So let's say this is the category filter that we created first, and here instead of this this filtering where only the category values and subcategory values are shown, let me do highlighting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another filter. I'm going to remove this filter, okay, and I'm going to create another filter. Which is a highlight action. So let me call this highlight. And so it will work in this thing. Okay, this is okay. So we have said that we are going to highlight. This action is highlight rather than filter. So let's see how it works. So now what is going to happen is that if I select this, see, it has got highlighted, and these have got highlighted. These have got highlighted rather than getting filtered. These have got, so everything has got highlighted against this. Okay, this one is not very visible because you know the product, you know, this it is not showing the other product. I don't know why this should also be highlighted. I don't know why this is not highlighted. What effect it has. Just say what happens that we see. Okay. So yeah, so if I don't use it, you see, it doesn't change. Okay, if I don't use it, doesn't change. So it has got highlighted, but maybe the values of your profit, the color of the profit is become neutral. That's why you're not able to see the product quantity, but it is getting highlighted, because this is different from what you're seeing if you're not highlighting this. So these two are not highlighted now, but these two are highlighted. Okay. So this is the concept of highlighting, where you're able to see the other, but the ones that are getting filtered will be highlighted instead of being shown, only shown, and others not shown. In case of filtering, what was happening is that others were not shown at all. Now here, others are shown, but the ones that you have been selected have been highlighted. That's the difference. Okay. Make sense?
No, Atanu, why are you saying that the fourth quadrant it's not highlighted? Because the profit it's kind of neutral status, is it?
Yeah. Because in this color, if I make this, if you will not be able to see this, because okay, so if I make this also highlighted, now you see what happens. And now it sees is grayed out. Grayed out means that for this category, let me see what happens to this category.
Same.
Yeah.
So there is no change in the in this product quantity quadrant, isn't it?
There is a change. If you don't have this, okay, if I include this, what happens? See, if I include this, if I include, this is the category highlighter. What happened? Wait, sure. This is the category highlight, right? Yeah. So now suppose I don't include this. Okay. Suppose I don't include these two. So you're excluding the category highlight. I don't want to include this. Okay. Now you see normal. So even if I filter it, there's no change. There's no change on these two. Okay, because they are not getting filtered.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. But once you do this, there is a change that is happening. But the change is happening in a way where the profit is becoming towards the neutral side. So it is becoming gray. So so it's not able to highlight in this kind of format. So in this format, it's not able to highlight. It is able to highlight in this format because it doesn't know, you know, in this format, how do I highlight? Okay, I already have color here. It is showing as a separate color in the band. So when I'm highlighting this, it is showing this yellow color over here, and here it is showing as highlighted filters. But here there is a color. The color dimension has been taken up by profit. So it is not able to figure out that how to highlight this, because if it highlights it, then the color dimension will mean something else, not the profit. That is why it is making it neutral. Same it is doing over here. So okay, because it's not able to understand color is one dimension which is being used to represent profit. Now you're asking color to represent something else. It doesn't know what to do with the color. So that's why this is not working in this this particular chart, but it is working here because here the colors are segregated. So colors are segregated by category. That is why it is working over here, but it's not working this highlight stuff. So here you see, if I make this sales and profit. So here also it is not working. The colors are because it doesn't know what to do, how to highlight this color. Okay, it doesn't know how to highlight this color because the color is representing something else. But here it can highlight. So that's why for these two charts, the highlight is not working. Yeah. So in this kind of situation, it's best to exclude the charts from from filtering. So what I can do also that
sorry, Atana, very silly question perhaps.
No,
what is the difference between highlight and select? So for example, if we actually select, it's the same result we have seen, right?
No, see here what is happening. Only these are there. Others are not there.
Achha, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here it is not like that. Here you see others are faintly visible. This one are highlighted.
Okay. No, okay, fine. So purpose is basically the same, no? Unless you actually have to do the comparison with the other subcategories. At the same time, it's remains same because we are actually focusing on that particular category. And within
yes.
that category, I am actually, would like to see the comparison between the subcategories.
Right.
So I can do that through the selection. I can do that through the highlight as well.
Right. So in the highlight, you are not at all having any view of the other subcategories. In the select, sorry, you are not having you have no view of what other subcategories look like. But in highlight, you have an idea about. Oops. Sometimes where are we? Where did it go? This has changed to select. I think I changed this to change it to select. So that's why when you have too many sheets, it's become a little confusing. This is acting like a, let me just delete this and create it again. So here what we're saying is open to this. Correct? Something they made a filter out of that action. Okay, so that's why it gave a problem. Yeah. So this is what our normal selection was, and let us look at the highlight. What we're doing in the highlight was that we created an action, which is okay. So now what we are doing is we are retaining the others, but we are only highlighting this. Yeah. This differences are clear now. So this one,
Yes.
and yeah. So this one, where I'm just seeing this, whereas here I am highlighting this, and others are also visible. And the reason why this is not working in the other two charts is because you have the color dimension taken up by something else. So it is not able to, the gradient of color. Okay, the gradient of color has been taken up by some other to depict some other measure. So it doesn't know that how to depict the highlight now. So that's why it is not working for these two.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Great. What we are going to do now is another thing in the action. If you look at the action, there is another action. Go to URL is a very simple action where you can click on this link, and if you say go to your URL, you can basically define which URL to go. So this can be used if you want to click on a particular, let's say, a chart and want to take the audience to a particular website. Okay, so that's where you can give a URL. Okay. So I can just say that so as long as, and I can, let's say the URL is, so actually I should not do it in the same, because if you do it in the same, then it doesn't know what to act upon. So I should always create this in a different sheet. So I can create a new one. Now this is useful only when you want to take somebody to a website for explaining something. Okay. I can just duplicate this. So this one, for example, I say that URL so in URL hyperlink, what I do is I create an action and let's say I want to give the URL over here. Okay. So let's say URL is I can just give this URL over here. Now, if I click over here, still another highlight. I should create a new one because there are some actions are already working over here. Go to URL. Okay. When I say go to URL, it will take me to the URL. So in case you want to refer to some URL, you can use this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, suppose you want to go from a particular dashboard to another sheet or another dashboard. Okay. So let's say I am here, subcategory dashboard. And from here, I want to go to a geo dashboard. So what I can do, I can create an action. Says go to sheet. Okay. Sorry, not a dashboard. You can go from a dashboard to a sheet. Okay. So let's say I am in this category, subcategory. And once I have the details about the category, subcategory, I want to see the sales and profit in a tabular format, because now I want to analyze in details. So suppose I have a sheet which has the sales in tabular format. Let's say I have a sheet which has sales in tabular form. Sales and profit by subcategory. Sorry, I think I lost you for a second. Yeah, are you all with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So I'm just creating a table of sales and profit. Okay, this table. And let's say I have a grand total as well. Grand totals. And so now what I want to do is from here, if need be, I can go to the detail of the table. Okay. So if somebody wants to see the table, I can see that. So I can show that. So let me take this one. And let's say I create an action, says go to sheet. And the name of the sheet is, which one was this? This one. So here I'm creating an action. Go to sheet. So it's a sales table. Okay. So now if I go over here, it will take me to sales. It's kind of a hyperlink. but it doesn't filter. Not that it is not filtering. It's not that if I go over here, I'll see the sales of phones only. I'll see this entire table. It's not acting as a filter. It is just, just taking you to this is kind of, you can say, a backup. We have in PPT, we have these backup slides. You can hyperlink to a backup slide. So these kind of things you can use for hyperlinking to backup slides. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So that's a little bit about dashboards. Now, from the dashboards, I can build stories. The whole I mean, stories is not exactly a some earth-shaking feature. It is just like it organizes the dashboards, or even you can organize the sheets into a narrative. So so this is where you create a story. So essentially what you do is you add a caption saying that, let's say I have the category wise sales. So I can put this over here, okay, and say that technology is the highest selling product category. So my story opens here. Then I go to the subcategory. I can put the subcategory here. So here. So I have this story. Then I move to a story. Phones, chairs, storage, and tables. Phones, chairs, storage, and tables and binders. Tables and binders are the 5 highest selling subcategories. So that is my second story. Then let's say I have another sheet. This sheet, we make the popular sheet of subcategory profit. I can just say that sales subcat and put profit over here. Okay, so now this one I take to my story. Okay. And my third story is about this sales subcat, this one. And I say, however, table is the highest, most loss making. So essentially, I'm building a narrative around this. So I can start from here and I move the story like this. You can create a narrative like this. So this helps you to organize the charts. You can have dashboards also. It's not that I can have a geo dashboard here now. Next one. Okay, so now I have the geo dashboard. Let's analyze which geo is performing across categories. So now I have story flowing like this.
So basically we have to create the sheet first and then dashboard, and then only we can talk about the stories.
That's right. So if you want, you can skip the dashboard, but then dashboard has this feature of filtering and all. So obviously your story will not be great if you do not use the filtering features. So that's why that may not be very practical.
So story, it's like the presentation slides.
Story
So
is
you
kind of,
write
yeah.
your points there and
Right.
whatever you would
Right.
like to highlight, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Now again, story, I don't see any great utility as such, because I mean, this is as good as giving as you said, that giving a text below a presentation, and I mean, it doesn't look that great. Okay, yeah, and the visualize, not that you can visualize this in the form of some bubbles or something like that. Okay, it's the plain text and kind of something that probably will not be very attractive. You'd rather say this, verbally rather than write it down. The only thing that it does is helps you to sequence the way you are going to unfold the picture. So that's probably the only help that you can.
It might be helpful if we actually download in a PDF like this and send it to somebody for his perusal. Then perhaps you need to write something and send it.
Yeah, but then if it is yes, you can always download into a PDF, like you publish it in public and then download in a PDF. But again, if you're downloading in PDF, the expectation would be that you write this story not this in this format, but maybe in a different format. More,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so this you can't really format this much. I mean, nothing can be done over here. You can't format it in different colors and kind of stuff. You cannot beautify this. It adds at best a cue for the speaker to talk. And you see, you have these scroll bars and all. So it's not a great visualization to write the story, show the story. It can be a good thing for a presenter to get a cue about what he or she is going to talk about, but not something that can be presented very easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So that kind of gives an idea about what we can do with dashboards and story. So let me save this, because this sheet has become quite busy. So I'll rather use a new sheet for the next thing. All good, everybody fine?
Yes, okay, sir.
Great. Vidisha, Anindo, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Amrita?
Yeah.
Okay, great. What we are going to do now is look at few other interesting features in Tableau. These are called groups, sets, and parameters. Now, this is where the flexibility of Tableau comes in, or the power of Tableau in terms of configuring various types of charts comes in. That how intelligently, or how, not intelligently, but how effectively you can use this whole concept of parameters and sets and your groups. Sets and groups are relatively easy. Parameters is a very, very interesting thing. And with experience, people know how to use the parameters very effectively to do very interesting things. Okay. So we will see how this can be used. So let me close this. And I will also suggest that you also do the same, because better to use a fresh sheet rather than existing sheet, where we'll first understand the group concept, then the set concept, and then group and set is very similar, except a small difference of what is called set is basically in and out. We'll see that, and then we'll get into parameters. Okay. So let me just. first do the cosmetic part. Sorry. Then you have see, we had this popular thing, subcategory and cells. Okay. Now suppose I want to create let's say a set of subcategories, a group of subcategories, which is only considering office supplies. So you see that there are or small office appliances. So there are various types of, or I can say, let's say wooden furniture or something like that. I want to create a group within this particular set of subcategories, a unique group, okay, which is a different segment, okay, which is not defined within this. So if I want to do that, I can create a group from here. So let me just show you. So I can go here and I can create a group. So once we go to a group, we'll be able to see this. Okay, so go to the group over here, and let's say I want to classify, let's say, all types of stationaries. Let's say copier, not copier, envelope, fasteners, okay, labels, paper, and yeah, binders. Okay, so let's say these are all different types of stationery. Okay, and I create this, I create a new group of these stationaries, okay, which is not a part of my standard subcategory. So I can just say stationaries. Stationery is this. Okay. Now see what happens. So you have a group. Now let's say if we just take stationery here and sales here. Okay, wait, here did not work. Group did not work. No, sorry, I did not group it actually. Okay, so it will be binders. What are them? Binders, copiers, envelopes, fasteners, labels, right? And paper. Okay, so I just have to group them. Okay, so now you see that I've created, and now this is a group of stationery. So now you see what has happened is that I have one group which is stationery. And then so stationery has been grouped together as one group, and rest of it is okay. So this is, I mean, if I want to classify my products in a different set of groups, I can do this. Okay, making sense?
Yeah.
Now you can actually do it in a quite dynamic way. For example, let's say I have same subcategory and I have sales. But note that this stationery is not a part of subcategory. It's a completely different group. Okay, so we can actually should in order to make this name meaningful, we should say subcategory subcat with stationery. That means this is a different subcategory which has stationery as a type of subcategory. So it's not that you are it is a subgroup or it is a group under subcategory. It is no hierarchy with subcategory. It doesn't have any hierarchical relationship with subcategory. It is a separate group. Okay. Now another way of doing this is both of them. So I can take, let's say, and go and create a group. Okay. Now this I can say these are the subcategory. The top 5 subcats by sales. Okay, so now I can. Now one thing interesting has happened. I'll show you. But before that, let me show this top 5 subcat by sales and sales. Really, it doesn't make sense, much of sense. Let's say what we do. So it created 2 subcats. Okay, one is so 2 groups. One is this top 5. These are the top 5, and the rest, which is below top 5. Okay, the rest of it is other. So I can rename this. Let's say lower selling, or let's say top 5 below top 5. This is the top. Now I say, now I can put here sales. So I have the top 5 and below top 5. What is the sales? Now you may say that what happens if I make it, if I want to make it dynamic, instead of top 5, I want to get top 10, etc. Okay, we'll see that how this can be done. Okay, so this is the concept of group. Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us look at the concept of set. Okay, so what is the concept of set? Now I can create a set over here. It looks very similar to group. Okay, I can create a set on certain products from the list. Okay, so I can just manually select them, but I would, let's say, use a little different one, and I'll say I want to select the top 10 subcategories. Okay, so my set is top 10 subcat. Okay, top 10 subcat by sale, where the sum of sales, so is the top 10 by sum of sales. Now, previously we made a group, but those group was kind of static. If the sales data changes, then still the group remains because I manually selected the top 5 or top 10. As of now, depending on current sales, I have selected the top 5. But tomorrow the sales may change. So it is highly static. This one also is static in the sense that you may say that what happens if I want to make top 5? You'll see that. Okay, or what happens if you want to make top 5? But at least here it is dynamic to the extent that it will show me the sales of top 10. So now if I use this, so it is a set. Okay, and top 10 subcategory sales. So now suppose, so let me first show this like this. Okay, so I'll take a subcategory and I'll take sales. And then I say top 10 subcategory sales. Now this is like in and out. That means by default, it is in. So it is showing me the top 10 subcategory by sales. By default, it is in. Okay. So this can be useful. Let's say for subcategory, it may not be that great, but suppose I want to do it for product. Okay. So let's say top 10. I don't want to make it subcategory. That's just top 10 sales. It can be anything. Okay. Because there's sum of sales. It doesn't say subcategory. Okay. So it can be anything. So now suppose I do it for product. What is my product? And I have it for sales. Now this is a very large, huge sheet. It's a huge sheet. Like, so I don't want to see the entire range. So I want to see the top 10. So now, no. So show members, you can see show members in the set, or it can be show members out of the set. So you see out of the set, it shows the bottommost ones. Whereas if you show members in the set,
The top 10.
the top. Now, let us do one more thing where I want to figure out, I want to first get the top 10 subcategories by sales and then top 10 subcategories by profit and then combine. Okay, or rather, I want to make top 10 subcategories by sales. Then I want to make subcategories that are making profit, that is profit greater than 0, and then I want to combine them. Okay, so first let me just remove this this sales. So I'm just deleting this because just not to get confused. Okay, so let these two remain. This one also I want to take top 5 will just deleting this. Now suppose I am create a set, and this set is or I can do one more thing. I don't want to have top 10. I want to have sales greater than, let's say, 100K. Okay. What is our sales range? Let me just check. What is the sales range? Subcategory wise. So yeah, 330K. So let's say I want to get the set of products, subcategories where the sales is greater than 100K and the profit is greater than 0. That means it's making positive contribution. Okay, because I want to have few of those categories where it's reasonably high in sales and they're profitable. So let me first. So far, guys, are you with me? Everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me first create. By the way, you can also create it from here. Okay, so from here also you can create. No, here you can create parameter. You cannot create groups from here. Groups you can also create. Yes, from here you can create the group, but you can put. No, somehow this is visible. You should be able to create groups somewhere here as well. So, but as of now, I'm just creating from here, but groups and sets can be created from the menu also. So first set is I'm creating where sales greater than 100K. So I'm using a condition by field sales. So this is where we can use a lot of mathematical functions to create charts that you want. Okay, sales greater than. Okay. So this is sales greater than this. Okay. So this sales greater than 100K. Then we want to make another subcategory, another set where profit greater than 0. So by field profit greater than 0. And then what I can do, if you now go over here, you will see something called create combined set. I can combine the two sets that is already created and create a join of the two. A join means I am creating those set which is meeting both the condition of sales greater than 100K and profit greater than 0. So I have to go to this create combined set, and the first one, so this is sales greater than 100K and profit greater than 0. Okay, everybody with me? We so one set is this sales greater than 100K. The second set is profit greater than 0, and there are different types of joins. Now these are, I can have, this is like a union. I will have both sales, and so it's an entire union.
No, but whenever you say and, it is automatically intersection, no?
Yeah, right. But I have no, here I have written and, but here I have to choose whether it's and or not. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this one will not matter. So I intend to use and, so that's why I have to have an inner join. Okay, I have to have inner join. So you can have an inner join, you can have a left outer join or a right outer join. Okay. So in this case, because it's and, we are having an inner join. So I have this. So now we have this. Now if you go say subcategory and sales, and now we don't want all of them. We want only those. So we can also see actually whether profit is greater than 0 or not. Profit is greater than 0. So this is the set where the sales is greater than 100K and the profit is also positive. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's this top 10 what we created on subcategory. We created a group, right? Which is not group, set. So the difference between group and set is in or out. It's a condition. Group can be, so set is always on a value. Okay, so like whether this whether if sales is greater than 0, that is in, sales less than 0 is out. Okay, or whatever, profit greater than 0 is in, profit less than 0 is out.
So
yeah.
So does that mean set it's always divide a particular population in 2 parts, whereas
Right.
group can be multiple parts?
Group can be multiple. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So set will always be into 2 parts, in or out. Okay. So we created a set where we selected the top 10, right? Only thing is that the first time we selected, which was top 10 based on the current sales. Then we said the sales can vary. So we should select any top 10 at any point of time. And now, why top 10? It can be, I should be able to control if it's top 10 or top 5 or whatever. So I now want to parameterize the 10, the value 10. So what is the parameter? Parameter is something that you can pass. As a user, you can pass to the program, and the program will take that value and process it. Instead of hard coding. Parameterization was a hard coding is, in hard coding, you give the value in the program itself. And then if you have to change that value, you have to change in the program. But in parameterization, you pass that value to the program, and the program will take the value as it comes. So now I'm saying that I don't want 10. Today I may want 10, tomorrow I may want 5. I should be able to pass that value, and it should be able to filter based on whether it's 10 or 5 based on the value that I give. Okay. So now I'm going to create a set where this top 10, so instead of top 10, I'm calling it top N. Top N by sale. Okay. So N can be controlled by the viewer. So previously what we are doing, we're doing this top 10 and by sales. Some. But now instead of I want to control this 10 from outside. So this is where the concept of a parameter comes in Tableau. Okay. It is used in multiple places, but this is one of the simplest application of a parameter. So now 10, the top N is a parameter. N I'm going to define, whether 5, 10, whatever I'm going to define. Okay. So I will say create a new parameter. And let me call this parameter as top N. A parameter for determining top N. Now this is a integer parameter because it is 1, 2, 3 like that, cannot be fraction. But there can be other parameters as well. The current value is 10. That means the default value will be 10. So by default, it will give you 10. Now you can decide 5, 50, whatever. Value in the when the workbook opens is so when it opens, it defaults this value, and then you can change this. There is this, so there is so you can display all possible values. All possible values mean all possible value in, and that is allowed. In this particular case, any integer is allowed. Okay, or you can give it in a list. List is like a drop down, or you can give it in a range. Okay, and the range will vary from 1 to 100. Okay, so we'll see the difference. So as of now, let's keep it as range. We'll see how it works. Okay. And it's not taking from any value from any of the fields. Okay. So so it is showing some of the numeric fields from where it may take values. But I mean none of these apply over here. So we'll not take any fixed value. Okay. And this is my parameter. Okay. So once I say okay, what it does is that you see in the down below, it is creating a parameter. It is creating something called a parameter, and it is putting this parameter over here. Okay. Now, see what happens. First thing we have to do, we are controlling how many top we want to see. So this parameter should be viewable as a viewer. So how do I make it viewable? Go over here, say show parameter. Now see on the right hand side, this top n has come up and this small scale has come up. The scale can move. By default, it is 10. So that's what it said. Now let's say we don't use this for subcategory. It can be for anything. Okay, let's say product. Because we know product has much more variation. So let's say add all members and sales. Okay. And now it is by default showing 10. Sorry. This one won't work for product because it was created for subcategory. We can create the same thing for product as well, but since it was created for subcategory, remember that we created it for subcategory. Okay. Let me take the subcategory and sales. And now we say, wait, put it over here, the top 10. Actually, if I saved it there, it would have taken. So I have to pick up the top 10 over here. Now it will apply to product as well. Okay. So now you see. So as I'm moving, the number of products that have been shown over here increases. Okay. So let us now take this for product. Sales. Okay. Okay. So it is not doing anything. Go to filter. I fields top n. This is our parameter. Okay. Says by sound. Apply. Now. So it's a simple application of a parameter. There are many other applications. Next class will show some few other applications, but this can be used very effectively for controlling various type of charts. Okay, makes sense?
Yep.
Great. So we have covered almost everything. Next class we'll try to do a little bit of parameters, and I will show you some more custom charts which you can effectively use. But those will require again little bit of manipulation in terms of the formula and all. Okay, so like the way we created the medals chart and the lollipop chart. Okay, so similarly there are a few others like waterfall chart, dumbbell chart. So these are relatively easy to make using this parameters and formulas. So we'll see that, and also of course some more use of parameters. So at least that will help you to navigate reasonably comfortably on Tableau. Yes. All good for today?
Yes.
This was a heavy one.
Heavy duty work. End of the day.
It's better to keep quiet.
These classes are better in the morning.
Oh,
Next time we should have
nothing to do with morning. I think it's just that this heavy and this fast. So you
yeah, of course.
not able to keep pace, then you
No,
have
that's
to
okay.
go back to YouTube.
I think
I don't know. Somehow it's difficult to do simultaneously. So that's why I've decided to listen to him first, and then perhaps take some time out and kind of do it, because in any case the video it's available.
Exactly, that is the right process, Shubhankar.
Yeah, because
I carefully listen to Atanuda, and then next day when the video comes.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
because otherwise, because if you lose the pace somewhere, then it will be very difficult to come back again. I mean, then you lose the entire flow. So you're right. I mean, in this kind of situation, it's better to listen to the steps and then go back and do.
Yeah, challenge is to find time.
Especially year end, March end. I can imagine.
That's true.
Oman sir, Tableau is like a basket. So from
Tableau,
where whatever is relevant for you, you have to choose.
Yeah, I still feel that this is far better than the previous ones that we were learning. This is still more useful. Still quite useful that we could use it. Yeah, only keeping pace today was a little tough. So
I mean, we are now going into a little
the last when the sets and parameters and everything came.
This is not difficult. It's if you have used conditional formatting in Excel, it's almost same.
Yeah.
So Umen, now you know
can use multiple conditional formatting in Excel.
Now you know why my priority at the beginning, that whether the recording is on or not.
No, all this while I was able to keep pace, but when the sets and parameters came, something went wrong.
No, that's okay.
No, but it's interesting. If you actually go back and think, it's interesting.
And the amount of thing that you can do. I mean, after this, obviously, you need to. I mean, the whole idea is how these sets and parameters can be used. Parameters rather. Sets has more specific use, but parameters are the very wide use. It can be, used in so many ways.
Parameters, what you have taught us right now, only for this use, it's similar to slider.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. Okay.
Good.
So
It's fun. It's I think we as a consumers now will become very, very demanding.
Today, no, Shubhamai and now Kaushik is there. Kaushik is representing IT.
Kaushik and Vidisha.
So Pramod did ask me, is Shubhamai part of this? I said, yeah, he's part of it.
Correct.
So our demands will go to them.
Yeah, that's why the learning is. And it's something which is interesting, very interesting.
Great. So we'll have the last session on next Thursday.
So Tuesday it's not happening.
So
Fine.
Tuesday we are not having any class.
No, Thursday.
Okay. Next.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It was actually very nice interacting with all of you. It always has been great pleasure. Anindo and I, of course, these days keep interacting. Good.
So analytics now, I think it's very close to Anindo's heart. So I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, now that the product is moving towards maturity, more and more, correct. I would say more and application of analytics will increase, I guess. Okay.
So
till now, Anindo is more kind of bogged down with the installs and registrations, but once that stabilizes, you have to look into.
So Umen, practically, I think we can learn many things from Anindo after a while, maybe after a month or so. The practical data, I think we can get it from Anindo.
So I know.
Atanuda, just one request: never step into Shuman's trap. He's a trap master.
No, one good thing is
that I got an indication with the way
he will present in such sugar-coated words, and then he'll bring out the real lethal weapon.
So I knew I had tutor 1. Now I have tutor 2 also.
Correct. So one is theoretical, one is practical. So you have both options in hand.
Both 1 and 2 start with A. One is A, one is Amrita, the other is Anindu.
Anindu have both A and B. Don't worry.
Oh, it's so good to laugh. We lost how to laugh also. Yeah, okay.
Great. So
Right,
see you
thank
then
you.
next Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
See
Bye.
you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Right.
Good night.